Hey there viewers, my name's Torinski and welcome back to another DCSS Sunday. Today we're of course jumping back into our little break routine here. Gonna continue having some fun with Djinni, and where we last left off, we'd had a pretty successful run. After a couple of slightly lackluster starts, we managed to get things off the ground with Djinni on this fun little Djinni journey we're going on here. So hopefully today we can continue that upwards trajectory, at least plateau, since things were going pretty well. We'll see how it goes, but of course who knows what the dungeon has in store for us. So without further ado, let's just get ready to hop right into it, shall we? Good old Djinni. So yeah, we managed to get quite a few kind of necromancy themed spells going on here. Animate Dead fairly early on in the run, and then of course Bjortir's Val Clutch carrying us through a huge part of the middle game here. I'm excited with the addition of Rignia's Noxious Bog here as well. Things should go fairly well for us, but let's just hop to it, shall we, as we continue through Snake here. Hey Thalfon, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. I'm trying to think, I don't feel like it's a long weekend for people outside of Canada, but to all my Canadian fans out there, happy family day, maybe? Happy long weekend. Let's just leave it at that, shall we? And okie dokes, without further ado, I guess let's just get going here, shall we? So gonna start reaping, put out a nice bit of extra effect here with our bog. First cast of that so far this game. And hopefully we can kill things decently quickly here, start to get some friends under our belt. Looking at you, Mambas. There we go, fantastic. Not even gonna bother grabbing the one next to us. They should be down fairly soon. We do have our Arlek, I believe. Yes, fantastic. So we don't have to immediately panic upon seeing the Shock Serpent here. But again, let's try to get a bunch of all of these sons of guns over to our side, shall we? Family, yep, okay, it's a really long gap from Christmas to Easter. Let's invent a day off in February. Hey, I'm not complaining whatsoever. I know, this last week of work felt very long, and I was ready for the long weekend when it hit. So I'm hoping to spend tomorrow doing some productive stuff around the house, and relaxing a bit too. Nice little mix of the two, if I can. Okie dokie, go gadget. Zombies. All of the Naga zombies are exceptionally slow. Apparently I'm not traveling at the speed of my slowest ally, seeing as how none of them can keep up whatsoever. So, slightly confused by that game, but I'll take your word for it, I guess. What more can we do? And otherwise, we'll just keep on keeping on here. Hopefully not running into too much issue over the next little bit of Snake, though who knows what Snake 4 will have in store. Generally things start to get a little bit rough by that stage in the game, so we'll have to see how it all goes down here, how we're feeling over the next little while. And nice, able to reach out and grab most of you at the very least. Army is slowly but surely being whittled away here, so we're probably going to want to do something about that eventually here. Hopefully not in too much of a rush to do so. I believe in all of you. I believe in you, friends. You can do it. Not too shabby. It's funny because I always talk about how much I like Djinni, and you know, one of the big selling points to me is the interesting mix of spells you can get. You can end up being gifted spells that you've never used a single time in your DCSS career. And all of a sudden, because it's the only option at your disposal, you end up using it. And I still absolutely love that about Djinni, don't get me wrong. But something that kind of clicked in my brain the other day as I was explaining what I like about Djinni to somebody in the YouTube comments was that another interesting thing about them is that because your spells that you're granted can come from any spell school, and of course you just have spell casting to fuel them all, it also means that you end up with some really interesting spell combos specifically for a 3-rune game, where normally you'd never have any opportunity to learn the kind of eclectic mix of things. But It's one of the few times that you can have kind of... Do we have any good examples here? I guess having BVC with good summoning like some Cactus Giant. Not too often you get both of those running at the same time in a game, so it definitely adds another kind of interesting facet to Djinni runs, and you never know what they're going to look like or how they're going to play or feel, which I absolutely adore. Just fantastic. Okay. Well, let's be slightly terrified about this. Bunch of Mighted Naga all hanging out. I guess I could just try to run away. We do have the added advantage of Vile Clutch at trying to keep that distance. Maybe. Also, there we go. That confirms. I wasn't sure if our summons would be hit by our Noxious Bog, and unfortunately, it does seem like they are, which is a bit of a shame, too bad, but not the end of the world either here. Hopefully, we can continue to do alright, even with that being a consideration for us here. We'll, of course, just try to keep everyone as constricted as possible. We still have a little bit longer left in terms of reaping their souls here. Ooh, geez. Taking quite a bit more damage than I'd like while we're at it, but hey, there we go. We have our little force to be reckoned with here, and hopefully we can do a fantastic job of clearing out the rest of Snake 3 as a team here. Just great work, squad. Man, those, wait a second. Oh no, is this Kiriki? I don't believe we're gonna be able to, get ourselves out of this mess without performing some, unethical slaughter of innocent pigs here. But we'll see how it goes. Can I reach out and grab you? Seems to be working. Definitely still an exceptionally sketchy encounter for us here. Not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. And in fact, let's get our Cactus Giant rumbling out here, shall we? You can do it. Wow, even beating Mara, which is pretty wild. I should have had to animate. There we go. Animate dead on while we finished off Mara as well, but hey, too little, too late. Not the end of the world. One way or another. There you are, Kiriki. Hello, my friend. Well, at least this means we might get a few more souls to our side before the end of the line here. Fantastic. Hope Naga as well, being able to see invisible. Very helpful. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. Get a nice little force to be reckoned with once again here as we continue to make our way through Snake 3. Of course, all the excitement will probably be waiting for us in Snake 4. We're starting to regret all the decisions we've made that have led us to this moment in time, but hey, who's to say what the rest of Snake has in store for us? Just to repeat it. You prefer Laminate Undead? It does make them keep pretty well, for sure. There's a lot less rotting flesh involved in Laminate Dead. It's a pretty sweet deal, for sure. Can't argue with you there. Let us back up. Let our friends do a bunch of the heavy lifting when it comes to tanking hits for us. Thank you, my Zombis pals. And might as well throw the Cactus Giant in there as well, of course. Not too bad at all. And just more of the same. So does BVC actively only hit enemies? Or do we just happen to have everyone that's immune to it? Enemies caught in the area will be held in place. Huh. That's pretty nice. Frozen Ramparts and Laminate Undead, snacks for later, all your best preservation needs. One-stop shop. Pretty sweet deal for sure. Okie dokie, let's bring another cactus fella in here real quick. Beautiful. +1 flail. It does have RC and is one-handed this time, so we could get rid of this staff that we've been lugging around here in exchange for that. Doesn't seem too bad. It does allow us to bring our buckler back into the mix, a couple of extra pips of AC for our trouble here. Not too shabby. Does look like we're almost hitting our cap in fighting here, so we'll have to come up with some plan for the future after we get that. Who's to say what the dealio will be there? It's easier just to use E-Undeads, but you guess some people prefer the new Undead stone texture. Exactly, it's all personal preference. You know how it is for all of your undead needs. There we go. Snake 3 cleared as well. Things are going pretty dang smoothly at the start of our evening here. I was ready to be in sheer panic mode consistently throughout the start of kind of remembering how Djinni runs here, but so far, at the very least, let's definitely throw that caveat in there, all the asterisks you can possibly imagine. So far, it's going pretty well for us. Hello, my salamander friends. A little bit risky, but I think I will walk back into the hallway here just to keep grabbing them as much as possible, while also allowing them to stay outside of our range here, stay safe, and all that good stuff. Fantastic. Still getting a few extra souls to our side if we can help it whatsoever here. Where are you, Black Mamba? Fantastic. And I would like yet a couple more if we can squeeze them in here. I do believe it's possible. Let's see, Reaping still in full effect. Come on, Bessie. Just one or two more souls, if we can make it. Thanks, Babs. We'll do our very best. No promises. Okie dokie. Well, that's a decent amount of the damage having been dealt here. I'm still taking damage. I guess that was from the portal projectile shots from our favorite Mark Snake down there, but fortunately we seem to have settled into a bit of a steady state here. A nice amount of friends by our side. Though immediately come across yet another Mark Snake here. Why, hello there, my friends. So we'll just do our best to assist all of our undead buddies as much as we can, while largely staying out of trouble ourselves, at least whenever at all possible here. And not too shabby so far. Go Gadget Cactus Giant. Man, they're taking out our snake army surprisingly quickly. I thought we'd have, a little while with our new friends, enough time to get to know them, to appreciate them for who they are, but unfortunately, looks like we're just going to be cycling through various armies of undead here. We'll have to see how it all goes down. Would like to immediately reach out and grab the Guardian Snake if at all possible. Heavy priority there. Fantastic. Then otherwise we'll just get back into the usual routine here. Rinse and repeat. Not using too much of Noxious Fog yet, but so many of our corridors have been super tight, so unfortunately we just don't get the full effect of that spell going out. But where do we want to train? Maybe a bit more invocations. Always nice to keep powering up, especially since the couple of times we have had to resort to Fedhouse's abilities, they've been absolute lifesavers. Just amazing stuff. So we can start there. And I feel like we're going to want something else. Maybe more spell casting as we continue to get closer and closer to the level 9 spells. Ideally, those are immediately castable. Or that. I think we just get one level 9. Regardless, hopefully it's castable right away when we do eventually make it there. So I guess in that vein, let's start training a little bit in that department just to be fully prepped and ready for when it does come to pass here. And definitely, once again, get out all the usual enemies here. Fantastic. Yeah, do you want Cactus Giant? Welcome back to the squad. Please and thank you. Go, do all the heavy lifting, really, at the end of the day. I do appreciate you for it. Fantastic. We are just about at the stage where we probably want to get a bit of a following going from scratch here. Oh, beautiful. I was worried for a second that we were going to go through everything and not have any more enemies to continue our journey here, but fortunately does not seem to be the case, as we get a nice little band of Naga to convert over to our side. Ooh, and even more Naga to bring over. Fantastic stuff. Just beautiful. Let's focus on both of you Snecky boys real quick here. Beautiful. And Guardian Serpent, oh, he's still alive. How about that? Thought we might have taken them for their money there, but not too shabby. And yet again, still a little bit longer, just long enough to convert a couple more of these sons of guns. Why, hello there. Welcome to the party. Welcome to the squad. Hope you enjoy your stay. Flying with fettuccine air. Holy moly. And we thought we had an army before. Just look at the sheer volume of those sons of guns. Fantastic stuff. Again, I'll probably kind of focus down on the Guardian Serpents here, if at all possible. Make this joke often, but this really is the case, or another case of us being the baddies around here. Since when has raising the corpses of your enemies to do your bidding against the will of their mortal coil ever been a bad thing to do? I'm pretty sure necromancy, famously the school of magic for the good guys, very much showing up in force here. No, you might have a point. Maybe, just maybe. Oh my gosh, and there go most of our pals in one fell swoop. Holy moly. We must be getting pretty dang close to the end vault here, if I had to guess, and that's why we had quite the collection of buddies coming our way. Quite the party, the welcoming group here, but not the end of the world whatsoever. And hopefully we can just continue to do some good work here. Oops, that's not what I meant to do, but no, I'll take it. We'll run with it. Totally intentional, completely on purpose, of course. It's called Strategy, Sweetheart. Look it up. And there we go. Have confirmed that it was the end vault, and that's why things immediately took a bit of a rough turn, to say the least. I guess it does mean that we have pretty decent odds of getting a sizable army out of this. So it's not the end of the world by any stretch, and we'll continue hanging out here for a while. Oh, I have a message from Kira. Perfect. Sorry about that. Just need to make sure no big emergency going on here. Fantastic. Okay, who else wants some? Oh, I guess I'm not able to hit that one Naga for whatever reason, but there we go. We will temporarily block off our entrance to the end vault there and instead try to finish off the rest of the zone. Make sure our backs are safe, just in case things start to go horribly wrong. It's nice to have some kind of defense there. Sorry to distract you, did you not die? No worries at all, Babs. Maybe it's just because people are already constricted. Now that I see another case of BBC not reaching out and grabbing them quite the way that I intended. Good to know, good to know. And okie dokes, I guess there's nothing to it but to head into the final vault here and see if we can't do some real damage, shall we? I mean, we at the very least already cleared a decent chunk of our friends that will be coming across. Hello, Vajnia, how's it going? I would kind of like to summon you to my side, but I don't think that that's the safest of options here, so instead we'll just kind of stick in the back here, let all of our friends get into the mix, get into the thick of it, and not too bad. As long as Vajnia isn't still surrounded by their coterie of person snakes, it's usually not too bad to deal with them on their own, even for a relatively low defense character like ourselves here today. In fact, I'm kind of shocked that we've been managing to do so solidly on this character, seeing as how we're still sitting at mediocre AC, okay evasion, and terrible shielding, but hey, we're somehow still alive, still kicking, and still making it do the work for us here, so I can't complain too much about that. And there we have it, our second S branch of the run here, our second rune under our belt. Again, way faster and way easier than I had any expectation coming into the stream this evening. I was ready for there to be a little bit of a clumsy warm-up period, shall we say, but hey, not too bad at the end of the day here. Where do we wish to go next? Still have a little bit of the normal dungeon to clear here. I can't remember what state we left Lair. I can't imagine we finished Lair 5. Normally I don't bother doing so until we finish the S branches. So let's take a peek and see where we left off there, shall we? At some point we'll probably want better armor as well, now that I'm thinking about it and looking at it, but we'll worry about that when we get there. So since I finished the run through every species and did that 15 rune go, I'm kind of just back to playing whatever I feel like each run. We are for this run, yeah, starting last week and finishing this evening here. We did just kind of go into a nice little break period here of just playing one of my favorite species. And then we have to decide what we want to do. I know there were a couple ideas being tossed around, whether that be trying out some of the cosplay challenges or trying out a different style of 15 rune run. And I think the largest vote that I've seen so far from folks letting me know what they want to see has been for another 15 rune run, but this time going with either a melee character or a ranged character. And that definitely interests me. Specifically ranged character, I think, speaks to me the most, seeing as how I absolutely adored the Baraki run during the Great Player series, and I really like where ranged combat is in its current state. So with that in mind, I think we might lean that direction, but we'll have to see how things go and how we're feeling next week whenever we jump in and decide what we're going to be doing moving forward. What about a cosplay? Yeah, so anyone who's not aware, there's a series of challenge runs that are all called cosplay challenges, and it's essentially trying to roleplay as various uniques throughout the game, and each one has a couple of extra challenges you need to go for to earn bonus stars. You earn points for getting like into your S branches, picking up your first rune, a bunch of little things here or there. And so they're essentially just really interesting little challenge runs, very thematic, and some of them seem like they'd be pretty fun. Definitely would be a shift from the norm for me, which is always an interesting experience. So those have been a potential on our list for a while here, though again, I've still have not come to any final decisions as to what the next while is going to look like. And I think, in fact, what we might end up doing is a range 15 rune, and then maybe take breaks with cosplay runs throughout. I don't know. As always love to hear feedback and suggestions. So if there's anything you want to see in the future, always feel free to let me know. You know, drop by on these Sundays and send it in chat, DM me, leave comments on YouTube, what have you, whatever works best for you. Let me know what it is you'd like to see in the future. I'm sure we can try to fit stuff in. I do generally try to stick to things that I think will be enjoyable for me to play through, because probably not quite as much fun to watch me slog through something painful. Though, who knows, maybe that's exactly what some people would be into checking out. So if it is, that counts too. Let me know. Let me know what you want to see going on here. And yeah, Thelfon explains it there. The weekly threads, straight in certain ways, they seem very interesting. But the most recent one is Arug, which has you take throwing 16, all stats into strength, no shield, and for bonus challenges, don't train any weapon other than fighting or throwing, and don't intentionally blink yourself or others. Kelly's okay. Yeah, I like that each one very much has a unique appeal to them for sure, to say the least. And much like why I will ramble on and on about how much I like Djinni characters, I feel like limitations breed creativity in a lot of times, and so you end up in very interesting situations that you've never experienced for, or experienced before rather, on any normal DCSS run, and that is an interesting proposition to me, to say the least. So that might be the avenue that we take after we get another couple of extended late game attempts in with something other than magic, since on that front I do feel like I so often just end up casting like Maxwell's Capacitive Coupling and one good AoE spell, and boom, you've got yourself a 15 rune victory on a spellcaster. So it would be interesting to go a different route. I've never taken a ranged character into extended. I've very rarely taken a melee character into extended, and often to less than fantastic results. So that sounds like it could be a lot of fun and a bit of an interesting thing as well, for sure. Next week's cosplay challenge is Sigmund. We can take our chance to see what it's like to ruin the dreams of every starting adventurer who's on their first journey down and just murder them all. That said, range 15 runes sounds interesting. You're sure it's been done, but you have no recollection of seeing that approach, other than those old powerful blowgun builds that use throwing and stealth to get high paralysis odds even against panlords. See, I'd never saw those ones. That sounds fascinating. I do remember, and actually I'd completely forgotten about when blowguns existed. What a blast from the past that is. But exactly, I feel like there have been a lot of changes with ranged in the last couple of versions, so it's a prime time to explore some of that, have a good time, and see what we can get done, while also very much being cognizant of the fact that ranged builds are in a super powerful spot right now. So I think it would be an interesting experience, to say the least. So we'll have to see how we're feeling about that in the future. Now, where is... Ah, there you are. Fantastic. Reach out and grab you, my friend. Not too shabby. And otherwise, we'll just keep on blitzing through. Oh, some kind of teleport taking effect. Cactus Giant, save me, please. Help me, Cactus Giant. You are my only hope. Fantastic. I guess we do have Scorch, which probably, if I had to guess, does pretty incredible work against an Ice Wraith. And in fact, it does, so that is wonderful. That one green zombie sprite that sometimes shows up makes you think of a cactar. Oh yeah, it is the cactus. Oh, okay. Bit of a hey there, Mark situation. Okie dokie. Well, we'll just bring you with us here. I guess I'll create a new army of followers. Oh, hello, Nessos. How are things going? How's it hanging? Well, we'll reach out and grab you at the very least. Seems like we're going to be getting quite the selection of friends showing up. Speaking of, holy crud. Kind of hate that. Let's see, if I take one more step here, this puts us into prime Starburst territory, and then we can just blast the ever-living crud out of all of our new friends. Perfect. Oh, and Azrael joined the party as well, of course. Can't forget you, my buddy. My Djinn pal of pals here. Oops, did not mean to resummon my Cactus Giant, but that's great. Does this work on you? It does. Reach out and grab our Djinn friend there, who's just lobbying Torment like it's their day job. Holy moly. And I don't get no Azrael zombie for our troubles, hey? I guess do Djinni have corporeal forms enough to create a zombified form after death? That's a question for the scientists of the dungeon crawl universe, I guess. Maybe we're not quite there yet. Science just isn't quite far enough along to have concrete answers that will fall into the same category as hydroconcussions and whether we are, in fact, the baddies. You just never know, folks. But okie dokie. There's D14 going much smoother than the last time we were here when everything was a complete panic mode situation.